This whole Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney, Anheuser-Busch story reinforces the number one thing I've always believed, and that's the fact that most people will not jump into the fight until the fight's at their doorstep. You see, it would be surprising to me that all of these people that are now enraged about Dylan Mulvaney being the brand spokesperson for Bud Light and representing who and what they are didn't know all of the madness that was going on around them. For example, did they not know that there were men entering women's sports? However, I think the reality is it wasn't impacting the sports they watch. I mean, as long as the NFL, the Major League Baseball, MMA, the National Hockey League, none of the things they took an interest in were being impacted, they said, who cares? Of course, if this is true that this beer is geared towards frat boys and party young people who like to party, or the blue collar single guys, then because of that fact, and they probably didn't have children, it didn't matter to them that the groomers were out actively trying to get kids through school, trying to get them through drag queen story time hour, through any kind of drag queen strip shows. All of this sort of madness they ignored because it didn't really impact them. Now, of course, because a lot of these people are, you know what, just leave me alone, they weren't out watching the protests, weren't watching the trans community become active and militant and violent. So they weren't at these marches and these protests where they were seeing this community violently attack people who didn't share their ideology. So makes sense as well. It didn't come for them. This fight was not on their doorstep, and they just chose to ignore it. Now they finally woke up and realized, wait a minute, this is everywhere. This ideology, if I don't push against it now, will take something that I consider valuable and sacred, and it's impacting me. So it proves that we can, folks, when there's an issue, that there's enough of us that push against it, it can have an impact. The only reason people that, a narrow majority accomplish what they do is because they're willing to be all in. One thing about the trans community is they're all in. They are not seceding from the battle. They will try to project so much power. But we have such a large silent majority that is capitulating and sitting on the sidelines so often that if they would just jump into the fight, all of a sudden everything changes. So all you Bud Light drinkers, all you people that are pissed off, I would like to see you get equally pissed off about women's sports being impacted. I would like you to get equally pissed off about men and women's locker rooms. I would like you to get equally pissed off about the fact that there's young children that are being mutilated and that are being, offered what they, a gender-affirming care, which is far from it, putting on hormone blockers and cutting off their penises and their breasts. You should be enraged about that. That's what I'd like to see you push against. Now, I appreciate that you like your beer, and that's fantastic, but we can't all be watching the world burn as we drink beer, folks. So please, get into this fight, start paying attention, and realize that you do have a voice, and your voice has to be put into this fight and be heard by those that are clamoring for all this madness to continue. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have in the comment section. You can always follow me on my Rumble, my Locals account. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Get on board, and see you next time.